Hi guys, Ralph here again. Right, we're back to the Atari. This is Atari 2600s. This is obviously part 2 of trying to fix these trio of 2600s, trying to get them back to as they were. They all seem to work perfectly fine. However, what I'm figuring out is from part 1 is yeah, they work, but they don't. The colours are wrong. Now I was trying Smurf, and you could see on the video it was just showing wrong colours. There was a pink Smurf and the background were pink, and this bit here obviously alters. It's a variable pot, variable resistor, and you twist it round. It's actually, there's a hole in the bottom of the Atari which you can turn around anyway, so you can alter this when it's fully rigged up in the case. However, it doesn't want to do the right colour. So I'm thinking, seeing as all 3 of these are doing exactly the same, I've got a funny feeling that I'll try Mode Patrol, and the colours on this are wrong as well. So it's not the cartridge, it's not the slot, it has to be something on all 3 of them. Now all I can think is, whoever's tried testing these before has destroyed them. So it must be the voltage regulator. It has to be, because everything seems to power up. Lights is on. Well, you can't see that, but the lights is on. Everything's there and done. I need to do the thingy mod anyway, the composite mod for the sockets. You'll see that in a minute anyway. I'll cut to that, and all 3 will have that on there, so it'll be easy for me to connect things instead of putting wires onto things. But all I can think is the guy must have had these and put a 9-volt transformer to these, and it's obviously your positive and your negatives were reversed back when these were brand new, which is fine if you've got something where you can just unplug and twist around, which it doesn't work on here. It doesn't light up, so the opposite way around does what light up. So there are negative, yeah, because we have it separate, different way around nowadays. So the earth is one wire, and it's basically it's rigged with different nowadays because it's more safer, I think, anyway. But it must have done that and then blown the regulators. Has to have, because that's the only thing that counts for all 3. So I think I've got a voltage regulator somewhere that I could use. But what I'm going to do is get on with the mods on here, order some regulators, and then we'll see what we can do with these. Because there must be a reason why it's doing wrong colour. Because I've actually looked on the online, and it says something about different power supply. I've changed power supply. This is the one, the brand new one, which is my 3 to 12 volts transformer, which I usually have a reverse cable on just in case. But this has the same pin out in there, what comes with the transformer, to the pin out on this section here, to go into the old converter. So it does actually work and gives me 9 volts. So it's fine working on this transformer. It's a good transformer as well, so it can't be the power supply, but I can't say what it is after it's supplying the power. So let me get on with that. Let me look into trying to find one of these to see if it is, and then we shouldn't be far of getting this fixed. It's mainly case mods now that we need to do, and hopefully it's just that, or maybe it's just something on the board I can't see. So let's get on with doing the cable mods on this so we can get them into the cases properly. There we go, sockets are completed. Right, if you notice on there, only doing the mono, there's easy ways of doing a stereo mod straight from the audio anyway, and these are only mono either way, so there's not really much point. The one I did on the cupboard up there, it has got all 3 sockets on it, but there's no really need for doing them on these anyway. So the original socket on the back of here was mounted onto the board with these 3 pins here, well, these 3 holes at least. I've soldered the earths to that part there on the board, so at least it gives a little bit of stability. It's on there. The earth's linked to that part, and there's a wire coming off on here anyway. All 3 are exactly the same that I've been doing. Some are with better successes of bluage some worse, but they're all virtually exactly the same, apart from different colouring on cables. I got bored doing the cabling and such, so that's fine. But they're all, the hot glue will hold it onto the board, they'll give it a good strength in case you pull it in and out. All work really well. So yeah, that's fine. They'll do for what they're needed for. What I've done in the meantime as well, all the bases, all three bases and tops have been cleaned. Now, these won't fit into there because obviously there's been one coax plug for the aerial on there anyway. So I need to cut away a little bit on here just to make it a little bit longer. So that shouldn't be too bad. And then that'll be virtually complete and done. Then we need to sort out why these are still doing the wrong colours. So I'm still guessing. I'm putting a good guess on it's that. It's the actual voltage regulator that's wrong. So as I said, a lot of people do state use a better transformer, and I'm not fully convinced that mine doesn't. So I don't know. Finally get rid of this now. The other cable that came with it, and I can get rid of the three-way adapter, female to female, so I can actually start using these now. Plug them directly in. So next step is cutting away. This is a larger hole. I don't need to the top, I don't think. If I do, then I'll have just match it on the top anyway. It's a shame that I actually had an idea before. If I did one socket over here, it would still use that same hole. There's a channel switcher cut out already on here. That could easily be used for a second one, so you could do video on one side, audio on the other. But with the UK versions, they don't have that on here. There's nothing on the board at all for switching channels. At least I think that's what that cutout is. I can't see what you'd use, what you're doing there anyway, because there's just components behind. So it doesn't make much sense why I'd do it. So next step obviously is cutting these. I'll get back to you when I've done that. There we go. All three now done. What I recommend is, these are obviously a circle to start with, is cut down. If you've got a Dremel, I've got a Dremel, the bodywork is hooked up alongside up there, then I have just the extendable arm coming down. If you can cut maybe 3mm into either side of the opening, and then just try and don't do it any deeper than what it already is. There's no need at all. So then just straighten it off. If you do too much, it's going to look an arse. If you do too little, get a Stanley knife. Just take a sliver off, and little bits by bits by bits all the time. If you think you're confident enough to make a nice straight cut with the Stanley knife, it's a lot better cut than what it is with the Dremel. It's just the Dremel will take more off a lot easier to start with. So then fine, cut the plastic with a Stanley knife, and it will make it look a better finish. You're not going to do too much with this anyway. But there. So that's in and done. I'll get a top to see if I need to do the top. And I might actually do, yeah. So what I'm going to do with the top is do exactly the same again, because this won't fit. Is just take... Yeah, because I need to know which board is, well, which top is going on whichever bottom now. So I'm going to probably mark off inside here like A and B, because these need to be cut off. Probably keep the same depth again, but I'll just square it off. So I'm going to take the board out. I'm careful of them tabs. I've already brought one of these tabs and glued it in place, and it's alright. I don't know which one it is. It's not. I don't think it's this one. But you can easily break them anyway. Not that I want to break them. But let's start with this one, shall we? So holding it together, put it back in place. These go... Well, there's 3 tabs there that go in. So I'm in danger of breaking these smaller 3 tabs on here. If you can tell, if you can see them. So, there we go. That's what it's going to look like when it's closed up. I've not got the front on, so I've still got a gap, so I don't have to break these tabs off. So everything's lined up. There's a notch there, notch there. Just to make it sort of more rectangular. I could have got drilled a little bit and faffed a little bit. I might actually whittle this down with the Stanley knife. It's a little bit difficult. It's easier with the Dremel to take bulk off. That's what I didn't want. Alright, so come down from that side. Very thin plastic. Very easy to damage. And I don't even know where my mark were on that one now. Oh, it's there. Right, okay. So you try to be careful. I can just whittle this down a little bit more now. Now let me get on with this. So you don't want to... you probably will see me mess it up again. I'm just trying to get the same width down. And there ain't much coming off of here. I'm trying not to cut myself. A little bit off each time, if you can. So I've got another 2 of these to do. Come on, there we go. There we go. Right. So hopefully, yeah, I did take that little bit off there. Hopefully, board in. This should will fit in place fine, perfectly fine. The board goes in place, it's not touching. I've got the gap to get either side. Actually, that's... I missed the marking on that one. Marking's there. Okay. There. So that goes down. See, there's plenty of clearance to where the sockets go, so you can get your plugs in, out, no problem at all. Not too much clearance. You don't want this to look like complete arse. So let me get on with the other 2. That one's spot on that now. Maybe a little bit more leveler. Yeah, get on with the 2. Right, I'm getting all 3 done. Every one of them, the holes are there, ready. I'm almost ready for final assembly. I've even done... See, this is what I don't understand about what these were. I think this guy's either... who I bought these from is either doing... same as what I'm doing. But I'm going to put them in. I've bought these. I might sell these. Might have 4 Ataris in here. I've got 6 Xboxes, original Xboxes anyway, so why not? But... he might be doing exactly the same because it came with, and just came as a board and a base, so that's obviously new. But things don't match up exactly right. It's like there's a hole there next to where the power supply goes, and all the cases have got this extra one here. Now they don't seem to line up, but all the cases come with the extra one for the 5th screw, but 2 of the boards didn't have the screw going through, so it doesn't match that. So you would only have the 4-cornered screws in this, but not this 5th one on these cases. But the boards are still without the hole. So like I said, 2 have been drilled. That doesn't look right with the bolt and the nut going through. Although my version with little screws going through looks quite neat. You can see there, looks quite good. And the heatsink thermal paste underneath, just in case, but I don't think that's my problem. But so far, I'm at the stage now, and I've tested all three of these, that they're all working, they're all fine, it's just none of them are the right colour. So I'm still thinking that all of these are linked in together by somebody who didn't know what they were doing. I mean, alright, I'm not the most intelligent person around for doing this sort of stuff, but like I've said before, this is stuff that anybody can do. Unless it's following my videos and doing it wrong. But it's obviously a different power. The voltage is the wrong way around. The negative and the positive. So, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think that's the same. So what I'm going to do is have a look around, test, and possibly order 3 voltage regulators, and get these completely finished and done. Plan for now. Narrowing down these Ataris, trying to figure out what's wrong with them. I'm going to change the variable pot. However, I can't find out what exactly the rating is on them. And I'm thinking I bought the wrong ones completely. Now, according to a schematic I found, it does actually say it's a 500k pot. This nice bag says 500k pot. Size-wise, very different, aren't they? But I'm not taking that as it's definitely or is or isn't. See, it's just the colours. This changes the colours. So I'm going to change this on here, which I'm going to struggle by putting this on with it being a different size. So I'm going to desolder this one, attempt to do something. It's even got wrong on the back as well. It's got 1 pin, there should be 2, but I might be able to work something out with over soldering, shall we say. It doesn't seem to connect on the... oh, it is there. I can work something out on that, I'm sure I can. But desolder, put on, and then see. So I've got power in that one. And see what I can do. The minute, I think I'm just destined to fail on this one. But let's see what we can do, shall we? Emitted, not pretty. The new pot is on. It's soldered on this side here, because I've only got 1 pin on the bottom, but both of these are exactly the same anyway. One on one side, one on the other. On there, it's smaller. It's way, way smaller. And I've had a disaster with these anyway, because it's kind of broken while I've desoldered. I might be able to put it back together again, but let's see what happens. So, what I'm going to do is plug it in now, give you a look. If anything happens to this. Okay, power on, switch on. Okay, I've had the television go pop then, which is good. Let's try the Moon Patrol. Now that's obviously set wrong anyway. Moon Patrol is on. Now this is the one I have the problem with the colours with. It's actually changing. Come on. I want green grass. Now this is doing exactly the same as the other one. Oh, I need a joystick for it to get next bloody level with. Because I keep going. Let me show you. It keeps doing. Now it's onto the bits there. Wider, wider. It keeps going to. Yeah, and yeah, and yeah. So I need the actual ground-based game part. So that's green. I want green grass and blue mountains. Is what the original, or this game is anyway on the Atari. Come on. So I'm on here. Oh. You can see me working over here anyway, so at least it is working. So then does it mean I have to find the exact sweet spot? Or is there something else wrong with this? I suspect. Yes, no, no, no. I don't think this is the problem. So, what I've got on order at the minute is new capacitors. So I've seen a video that somebody squeezed one of those and the proper colours came in. Obviously there was something wrong with his capacitors, but I don't know what. I'm just not convinced that this is correct. I'm not convinced it is wrong either with a variable pot. It does seem to be working the same as the older one, but it just gives me different colours. It gives me orange background, blue ground when it comes through. So this is an absolute nightmare, but for all three to be exactly the same, this is what's maddening about this. Right, press the drawing board, I think. It has kind of just been a straight swap over, so it's not that. Perhaps something else. These are all fine. I can't remember whether or not with the original mod kit that one of these came with, if it actually did do the proper colours. So what's frustrating about it? I don't know. I don't know. Let's try something else. Meanwhile, quite a few days later, I've got a delivery from China and a big bag of capacitors. Right, these are going to replace these four, solely because I still can't figure out why it's the wrong colour. The only video I saw was somebody squeezed one of these, and they are quite hard anyway, but they squeezed them and it changed the colour on the screen for that particular game, and I don't know why it would do that, except if there was it was expanded, or if it was something wasn't right with it. So I've got to go down the same avenue. I've changed that back, so it's back to the original one. Change the voltage regulator. Crystal shouldn't be a problem. I need diodes. There's no damage on all three of these, but all three are doing exactly the same. So what I am going to do is take off all four of these capacitors, C5, C6, C13 and C14. There are others on here. C12's a capacitor, apparently C3. I don't know if any of these last ones have broke. I mean, let me get you in a little bit. I just don't know. Resistors, capacitors, just give it up a little. But if this doesn't work, I mean, I thought some of these last ones were fuses, to be honest. But why are there that many fuses on a board? There's no reason why all three of these don't work. Well, they do work, they just don't work in the way that I want them to. And I didn't fully check that with the original ones that they had on these for the composite mod were actually the same as, if it worked perfectly then. But I'm not quite sure. There's nothing on here which looks obvious. So I'm going to get on with the soldering, remove these four, put some of these in, because they are the same. They're exactly the same. The H100s, 224K, 100 volts, yeah, they're right. But let's see what happens. I'm running out of patience. I might have to just get rid of these and just flog them on eBay or something, because I just ran out of ideas of what I've done wrong with this. They work absolutely perfectly. They run the games, just not in the right colour. It's not an NTSC fault, because these are English, apart from one of them is an Irish made one. They're all made over here. So I don't know. English, Japanese, they're not NTSC, they're the PAL ones. So it was definitely a PAL. Well, it looks like on here as it was a PAL version. If it was an NTSC, this would become covered in little parts and bits and bats for the for the output. But let's get desoldering this one only, and we'll see if this actually does work. Okay, she's all done. All the green capacitors have been replaced with these nice new red ones. If that's the problem, I should see with Moon Patrol and a little bit of fettling the right bloody colours. So the TV's on the right channel, the power leads, my power leads in with the adapter on the negative for my decent 9 volt excuse me, power supply. If this doesn't work, there's something else wrong. So switching on the power switch, 9 volts is coming in, and on it goes. Right. Altering. I have a green ground, horrible picture for the ship. Oh, this is impossible. That was not the problem. You can hear it obviously, but I'm getting, it's exactly so. That's not the issue with this. I'm going from full one side to the other. I get green ground, but I need green ground and I think blue mountains. Let me play down. No. Shouldn't be getting this. Moon Patrol is not this colour. I'm running out of ideas. Well, I've run out of ideas. There's nothing that is wrong here that would cause this sort of problem. Voltage regulator has been changed. The resistors have been put back into place, the ones that were in the corner. I honestly don't know what to do next. Nothing actually feels hot. Capacitors are fine. Unless the chips have been completely burned out. Well, not that completely, is it? Let's turn the music off. We haven't got anything shorting on any of these. Oh, hello. Okay, I am touching the back of what I think is here. Timing crystal, is it? It's not that one. It's that one, and I'm getting different colours. Oh, I'm not moving anything. I'm touching the timing crystal. Perhaps maybe changing Y1, Y2. Anything else? Nothing else? Possibility that's not in the right place. Oh, back to the drawing board, I think. Right, everyone, I'm absolutely stumped. I've changed what I think needs changing. Followed a lot of little instructional videos on what to do, when things were wrong. Replaced, added, replaced the caps. I can't think what exactly it is that's wrong. There's something that's not happy. That's obvious. It can't be the bloody corrosion that's on these bits here. But it's just simply not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this project now as a partial failure, because this is going to continue in my own time anyway. I'm going to dig around and see what out there is to do for this. What other problems other people have found. I'm just absolutely stumped as in what is wrong with them. All three are brought back from the dead. All three weren't working. That is a definite to start with. Once we got a little bit of power into certain places, they all seem to come back, all three of them. The guy who sold this originally was, they're all knackered, they're all broke, off you go. And I knew that. For 15 quid, I knew that this was a gamble, really. But I just can't figure out exactly what it is. I have to test every single component on here. Every single resistor, everything that's not replaced so far, and check whether or not it's blown. It could be something as simple as that little component there that's got on all of them. It could be one of these two. That one that kind of looks quite dark, the CR4, then the CR3. So that could have gone. I'm going to test the connection between all of it. So that is the only one of those that looks dark. Everyone looks lighter. Light. It could be a case of that. That could be the actual problem. That could have blown. It might be an internal fuse or an old capacitor or something. But I'm going to test everything. Straight down, I'm going to test everything. And I'll come back to you at a later date. It could be weeks, it could be months. It might even be years. I could put this on the back burner for quite a while and just wait for inspiration to come my way. But if you've got any ideas what you think is wrong with this, please comment below. I just don't know. There's nothing obvious I can see. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me on this. I'm sorry I couldn't actually get this completely fixed, but a lot of these videos are kind of me versus technology, and a lot of times a few times this one in particular, technology has won. So I'll come back to this at a later time, a later date. And yeah, like with the Spectrum, I had a failure on that one to start with for the Spectrum Plus 2, and we eventually got it resolved, which is great, which is absolutely brilliant. Got that working, it was perfect. But these things happen. This might go back on eBay as 3 full Ataris working, but for parts only. I don't know, or I'll just keep them as trophies. Really, I like having the amount of things I've got in the garage so far. So yeah, let's see where we go with this. Let's come back to this in a future date anyway. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate anybody, the views, the likes, the comments. I love the comments. Whether or not they're good, they're bad, yeah, fine. Just please comment. I'll put things away. And I'll see you in another video. Please, yeah, you know the rule thing by now. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.